Hey everybody, I'm Quinn.
And I'm Scott, and it's time for the Almost Friday Show for July 12th, 2012.
And off the press this week, we're talking San Diego Comic-Con because that's about to happen.
Yes, and by the time you watch this, it'll be mostly over.
It's true. And also, Steam's having a sale, which means people are throwing money at the internet.
Yeah, so if you like video games, get open Steam for once, because no one ever wants to do that.
No.
And go to the games page, because there's going to be not the store page.
Yes.
Yeah, because these are games you don't have.
It's true.
Yeah, and throw some money at it, because there's some ridiculous... A lot of stuff's 50% off, and if you like train simulators, that's also on sale. So...
And in Tech Insight this week, we're talking about Dropbox giving people a whole bunch of extra space.
Yes, so if you're a Dropbox Pro user, this is a good time for you. Also, we're talking about the Supreme Court of Canada's decision today on copyright law, because there's been a lot of controversy over that lately, and they finally came out with a big decision. More on that later.
And that's all we have for segments this week, so it's going to be short, but let's move on to Off the Press.
Hey everyone, welcome to Off the Press this week. Starting off with our mention for Steam.
So their summer sale is happening right now.
Yeah.
You can save lots of money on some actually really good games. I was like
Portal 2 is $5.
Portal 2? Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe Deus Ex is like $7 or $8.99 right now. Skyrim is going down, but only to $40 from $60, which is good but not awesome.
Yeah.
But the sales do change daily, and you can get package deals. So you can get like
Train simulator.
and Train Simulator. Yeah. So a lot of the package deals are like developer-specific packages where you get a bunch of their games for like $50 for like 12 games or something crazy like that, plus all the expansions and the DLC. And
We'll keep your finger on the pulse for that one because it's going to be constantly changing, and it's not like you wanted to hang on to your money or anything.
no, who needs money? Who needs going outside? It's too hot, it's humid and sticky and stuff.
It's pretty awful.
Just stay inside. It's better for you anyway.
So for our kind of sort of leaked related to San Diego Comic-Con stuff, this has been a long time coming. San Diego Comic-Con has officially announced that there's going to be a My Little Pony Friendship is Magic comic book.
Yay! So IDW has announced today that they will be releasing a My Little Pony comic book.
Which is going to be written by Katie Cook and drawn by Andy Price. Now, if you go check out his stuff on DeviantArt, he's got a lot of really good things that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So
A lot of these I've actually seen before. Like they surface onto normal nerd websites as check out this awesome pony fan art
because it's really good.
because it's actually really good, and this
Yeah.
guy can draw different styles of ponies, and he actually does a really cute job at it. So I'm excited.
Katie Cook in her professional life has done a lot of work drawing and consulting in Star Wars related sci-fi stuff. She worked on
Sweet.
Clone Wars and things like that, and but she also has her own comic. So if you want to get a taste of her writing, it's called Gronk, and you can just Google that, and it's definitely the first hit. So
Exciting.
it is really exciting. It's going to be really cute. If Adventure Time and other popular stuff is anything to believe, I don't see why this wouldn't transfer over well.
Yep.
You know, at least as another way to try and get kids back into comics, since it's kind of definitely been taken away from them.
And
the
I'll
last
definitely
little bit.
tide you over in the off season with My Little Pony.
Yeah, definitely. All right, and so they've released a little bit more cool stuff about the Marvel Phase 1, which is the super fancy, ultra hardcore pre-order with all the movies.
Yep.
And as far as we can tell, some sweet prop action.
Some awesome stuff. So basically, what we can tell from the Amazon listing / a bunch of other articles is that it's going to come in a briefcase. It's going to have the Cosmic Cube
that glows.
that glows.
It's gonna glow.
So it's going to be battery powered.
Yeah.
Tesseract, Cosmic Cube, whatever. All the movies will come in sleeve with some awesome art.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like I didn't even know about the briefcase in any way, but then they have it available for high quality dev res download. The new graphic designs that they have done for the front of these DVDs, and they are enough to sell me on them. They're so pretty.
They're so pretty.
So pretty.
It's going to be a 10-disc set.
Yep. With a bunch of different. It's got the Thor and Captain America and the Hulk and Iron Man's 1 and 2
And
as
Avengers, of
and
course.
Avengers, of course, and then there's a bunch of special feature stuff that you aren't going to get in
It's
any other way.
basically all the special features that came with the other movies also come with this. So you're
Yeah,
not
and so
missing
they're
out.
Blu-ray and then the 3D versions for the movies that were released in 3D originally.
Yeah.
On the big screen. So that's going to retail at $219, but if you pre-order it, it's going to be Amazon is retailing it for $150, $299, which
Actually, I think it's like $140 or $139.99 right now.
oh, well that's even
Yeah.
better. So there you go. So
140
even if
bucks.
you weren't getting like the fancy prop stuff, like that's a really good deal.
That's a really good deal.
Like a
for
really good
all
deal.
those movies, plus their special features, plus there's 3D editions for if and when you get a 3D
If you
TV.
ever get around to that, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't already own any of those movies, unfortunately. I've purchased them like for my
I
father
own
and
Iron
stuff.
Man on DVD, so you know.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's an upgrade.
It's
so
an
there you
upgrade.
go. So that's very exciting from the oh my god, give us all the merch thing.
Shut up and take my money.
Yep. Back to SDCC. Michael Fassbender has been confirmed as co-producer and lead actor in the Assassin's Creed movie.
Yeah,
So they're gonna do that.
Yeah, Ubisoft actually opened up a movie studio. I think it was last year or
Which-
the year before,
yeah.
which it was basically them unofficially saying, yeah, we're doing a movie. Probably Assassin's Creed, 'cause that's our biggest title at the moment.
Yeah. Well, there were some negotiations back and forth with Sony before they officially opened up their own studio. I think it's, regardless of whether or not I think the movie is a good idea, it is definitely a good idea for them to hang on to as much creative license as they
Oh, yeah.
can, especially because of Prince of Persia, the movie.
Doom.
I don't really think the Assassin's Creed movie is a very good idea. Assassin's Creed as a game in and of itself is extremely thorough, and the plot is good in and of itself. You're basically just going to be adapting it to live action and
Yeah.
removing gameplay. And if you do any
I
serious,
really hope they do like an expanded universe thing, not just a recreation of one of the games.
yeah,
So,
but it's going to
yeah.
be one or the other. If you do a
Yeah.
recreation of one of the games or an expanded universe,
It's
half
tough.
the fandom's going to yell at you.
Yeah.
So I hope that the people working on it have a lot of fun with it because someone's going to be mad regardless. So just follow your heart because someone has to be happy about
This
this.
could be stuck in pre-production hell for like 6 years as the World of Warcraft movie, so don't worry about it.
Who knows?
It'll never come out. Yeah, whatever.
New fancy things that also may or may not be good ideas is the Ouya, which is the new video game console that's coming
Yeah,
out.
it's actually popular because it's the new hotness on Kickstarter.
Yeah, goodness.
Raising basically $4.25 million
As of like 10 minutes
in
ago.
3 days.
Yeah, pretty
So-
crazy. It's a lot of money, and
They're-
so it's like it's a single little console that they're $99 is the
$100
price point for it, and it comes with a controller.
$100 one controller and
Yeah.
then $130 for two controllers,
Mhm,
and
which
it's
is pretty
engraved
good.
with your name on it too.
Ooh, that's fancy.
That's fancy. Basically, why this is a big deal is that this is kind of a console for developers. It's Android based, so it's open source, hackable, easy to develop for, and $99. Very easy for someone to buy.
Yeah, exactly. So whether or not this is a good idea remains to be seen because it is still in like major pre-production
Oh, yeah.
stages. They only have renders out in terms of what it's going to look like, things like that. But it's still cool, and they're
It's-
making a lot of money, and there's a lot of hype around
Yeah.
it. So like, good for those guys. It's definitely a neat idea at its base.
Cool concept, but I'm waiting for the reviews.
Absolutely.
Or at least the pre-production units. So we'll see.
So our last bit of major announcement news
Yeah.
is that Legend of Korra has been officially renewed for a second season. That's the announcement. However, if you go to the creators' individual Tumblrs, they actually go into it in a little bit more detail. They have been given enough episodes to round them out to 52 episodes altogether, which means that they're going to do 13 episodes second season, 13 episodes third season, and then they're going to have 12 episodes for their final book season. So it's going to be all 4 books, which is going to be absolutely fantastic because it gives them a lot more opportunity in terms of story and being able to overarch things properly, which is just great. And so, regardless of how you felt about the first season of Legend of Korra, the production values on it were absolutely stellar, and I'm super excited for them to continue to be able to produce quality programming like that. It's a really big deal.
It's super exciting.
It's a really big deal. And also, we have a comic to talk about this week.
Woo.
As everybody on the whole planet who has ever interacted with me knows, I love Adventure Time, and I love the Adventure Time comic. And so now we have the spin-off, which is Marceline and the Scream Queens. Now, this is a first because it is written and drawn by Meredith Gran. And so she's got a webcomic fame. That's pretty much all that she has done. And I say all of it like it's not a huge deal. Her real webcomic is Octopus Pie, and I love it. It's so good. So this one I loved it, but Marceline, the Vampire Queen, is definitely my favorite character, and there's no getting around that. She's my absolute favorite, and her friendship with Princess Bubblegum is probably one of the major ship fandom-y things, is those guys.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, it's definitely...
I've seen things, Becky.
It's in
I've
the
seen
big
things.
three. It's in the big three. And so if you are a fan of either of those characters, this comic is definitely for you. If it's not a thing that I would use to try and get your friends into the Adventure Time universe, though, I wouldn't just pick it up and hand it to a 5-year-old. They would be less invested in it. That's a thing I would definitely say. It is definitely for the fandom that already
Definitely
exists.
a spin-off, then.
Definitely a spin-off. It's set for 6 issues, and I'm super excited for absolutely all of them. But yeah, unless you are already an Adventure Time fan, I would not pick this one up.
Sweet. So I will pick it up when I'm at the comic book store.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it's super pretty. It looks really
We talked about this when it was announced, like right after the Adventure Time comic ended.
Mhm.
I thought this was coming out a little bit later, but I guess
Yeah, no,
it's
pretty soon.
comic book September.
Yeah,
which
and
means
Adventure
July.
Time hasn't even ended, so it's continuing to be ongoing, which is lovely. But yeah, definitely, if you already like Adventure Time, pick this one up. It's super cute, and Meredith Grant's writing is completely suited to the style of writing specifically Marceline and Bubblegum together, their whole friendship dynamic, which is probably one of the older type storylines that go through the TV show. So definitely pick that one up if you get a chance.
All right, and now on to new releases.
Ice Age Continental Drift is out. Yep.
Yay.
Basically, you know, they picked one of the main cast characters and made a girl
Yeah.
of that character,
Oh
and
my
now we have a
God.
movie.
Oh my God, guys!
All right.
Well, it looks awful.
Yep.
Yep. On DVD and Blu-ray, Adventure Time Season 1.
Ooh, which we both bought.
Yep.
Yay.
Yeah, it's like $13. It'd be stupid. not
That's
to.
50 cents an episode. That's cheaper than iTunes.
Totally.
Go pick it up. Also,
Plus-
it's super cute looking.
Special features and commentary.
I know. Commentary. So
Alright.
it's very exciting. So they should really be shipping those out faster because they are several seasons behind themselves
Yes,
in
come on
terms
now.
of DVD release. Get on it.
Get on it.
And then Warehouse 13 season 3 is also out this week.
Yeah.
TV.
I heard it was a good show. Yeah, it's one of those things I'll probably watch when it gets canceled.
When you get a second monitor.
When I get a second monitor. Yes. Yeah, I have the problem where I don't watch things just doing nothing. So
Yeah, I can't watch
Yeah.
television on my own. I have to be doing at least 3 other things.
it's true. It's sad.
Oh well.
Yeah, whatever.
And that's it for this week. Bye, guys.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tech Insight. We're starting it off with some Supreme Court news. This is some Canadian topic for you.
Yeah, we're
this
actually
week.
starting with the Canadian content for
Yeah.
once. So the Supreme Court made a bunch of big decisions on copyright law today, and that comes up a lot in our conversation period on the show. So we thought we'd fill you in on what the latest is. This has to deal with, music downloads, music streaming, things like that. So this is, pretty important. So basically there was a stipulation in copyright law that was kind of unclear, and the way it had been decided earlier is that every time you or I download a song on iTunes, technically Bell or Rogers, whoever my ISP is, owes a royalty because they're distributing that content. And so they struck that down, obviously, because basically this goes back to the whole likening to a broadcast environment.
Yeah.
Where, when I get TV from Rogers, they pay all the licensing fees for me, they distribute it to me, but I'm still paying them.
Yeah.
Right? And I still pay up for things like movies and things like that. So, that's how the law was formed, but that doesn't really apply to the internet.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the problem here is that a lot of these things were formed before the internet was really around, and we had a lot of internet access to digital content. And so basically the companies are going, I know that I can get money if I push this issue.
Yes.
And now the Supreme Court's going, okay, we understand that that was law, but it plain and simple doesn't make sense
Yeah.
anymore because this is not the same as this, and we have to understand
It's
that.
not really providing the use of the content. You're purchasing the content.
Yes.
It's more of a delivery. It's the me downloading the song is akin to me driving to the store.
Yeah.
The streets don't pay royalties on what I buy.
Absolutely.
So that's where they're kind of going with that, which is good. They also ruled down there was a stipulation as well where you had to pay royalties on music in a video game that you download.
Which doesn't make sense because, again, those video game producers have gone out and paid for the rights to use that content
Yes.
in a distribution environment such as that. So however you get the game is irrelevant because the gamers or the game creators have already have
Yeah.
a contract of how that licensed music's going to be used.
Yeah, and because I guess before it was deemed as like a not a performance, but they use weird words in copyright law.
Yeah.
It was like it was an access to the music through the video game as opposed to getting the music with the video game or something like that. It's all technicality crap that the Supreme Court's finally throwing out.
Yes.
Other important things, they kept on a stipulation that ISPs have to pay royalties for streaming audio.
Which is very, very complicated at the most basic level.
Yeah, we don't really want to talk about it much past that because neither of us understand how that would work.
Yeah, really.
Or why that stuck versus the download, because generally you'd be paying for a streaming service. So if we hear more on that and it makes sense, we'll bring it to you. But the last thing in this decision was, for academic purposes, you can now copy any copyrighted material for distribution to your students without paying for it, which is a big deal. That's actually probably the biggest deal, because that was already in use in a day-to-day business. Universities and schools pay lots of money to, unions and associations and stuff to be able to copyright all their content so they can distribute to students, and they don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, so it's going to save educational institutions a lot of money, and we'd like to hope that it means tuition is going to be lower, but no.
No, that's bold.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually some good movement on the copyright front in Canada for a change.
Yeah, and the important thing to note is that because this stuff has basically been put to bed now, it's not going to come up again. At least,
It's these were pretty, they were majority decisions in the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
You can't really go beyond that, save much of anything.
So our copyright landscape, for the time being, still remains...
Actually,
well sought out.
For a change, some good decisions. Probably because they're coming out of the Supreme Court, not the government.
Yes.
Moving on, some good news for Dropbox users. Now, when we reviewed Google Drive when it came out, and when they updated whatever the hell Microsoft's thing is that I use, SkyDrive.
Yes.
The only one I use, I couldn't remember the name. We said, they're offering much bigger storage for much less money, so why would you go with Dropbox other than the fact that it's really easy and multi-platform? Dropbox has finally answered to that. So if you had a 50 gig plan, now you have a 100 gig plan, no change in price.
Yeah, if you had a 100 gig plan, you now have a 200 gig plan.
Yeah, so I think there's 1, 2, and 300 gigs. I think you can go up to 500.
Something ridiculous.
Which
like
is,
that.
if you're syncing that over the web, you need to reevaluate how much you're paying for bandwidth. That's all I gotta say.
Well, some people use it for archiving.
Yes, that's true. So that's good. So if you're paying that, it stays the same. The other thing is, if you were paying the 25 gig Pro option, and you've been with Dropbox for quite a while, you don't pay for it anymore.
Interesting.
Because basically, I think the rationale here is it's very easy to get more than 2 gigs of storage on Dropbox now.
Yeah.
You can get up to 18 gigs on a free account. And if you buy a certain phone that's partnered with Dropbox, you get a free thing. So basically, they were saying, well, if all these people are getting these free things, getting very close to that 25 gigs, why should we continue charging one for 25 gigs?
Yeah, I just wish that they would just offer that one up front to begin with.
That would be the most out of anybody.
Yeah, well,
right
be
now.
equal to SkyDrive.
No,
No, because
SkyDrive's
SkyDrive
only
has
7.
dropped back down, yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, I have 25.
And so do I.
But if you sign up for a new account, it's only 7. So I think good news from Dropbox all around. Dropbox, we really like the service and the company. I have some acquaintances working there making stupid amounts of money. So hopefully they keep going in that kind of direction to stay competitive in the ridiculous field that is cloud sync services.
Absolutely. And our last bit of news this week is some Apple news. Apple's decided to pull out of the EPEAT rating.
Yeah, so they're an environmental rating system. It's done by an independent company, and it's very popular in the United States. And they basically do what's called a life cycle analysis on the environmental impact of your product. So that's from, getting the raw materials out of the ground, processing the raw materials, manufacturing, transportation, use, and disposal. They look at the whole thing and every aspect. So not just, it'll look at greenhouse gas stuff, it'll look at pollutants, it'll look at toxins, it'll look at working conditions, for people and pollutions and things like that. So it's very all-encompassing. And in the United States, it's a big thing. A lot of electronics go through this, and there's a bronze, gold, silver rating type system.
Yeah.
Which Apple has been using.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch any of Apple's keynotes, they go to great lengths to explain all the sort of environmental standards that they meet. So it's not that Apple is making products that don't meet these, and now they don't want to be under the gun for it. They've just decided that it's not something they want to participate in, even though they're already meeting Energy Star 5.2, and as far as they say, have higher, superior capabilities than what what EPEAT is looking for anyways.
And that's where this gets confusing, and I think that's why it's actually been talked about a lot on the internet in the last 3 or 4 days, which it has been. Please move on. But we, when it comes out this often, I have to put it in. But basically, it's if Apple has this position of, yes, we're environmental, and they are very straightforward. On their website, it'll say, this is how much emissions was made using this. This is, how many toxins were in this and lead and things like that. Why would you pull out of a big standard association like this unless for some reason you were unhappy with how your products were viewed from it?
Yeah, or on the flip side, and I don't really feel that this is necessarily a good option. Maybe they're tired of how these people have to come in to do their measurements of this kind of stuff.
I mean, it could be. Now, I've taken courses on life cycle analysis. There's not a lot of measuring going on. You do a lot of guesstimation.
Yeah.
And, I mean, not in, they don't just throw numbers down, but there's formulas and things like that. But it's not, they're not walking into plants and picking up arbitrary samples of aluminum and testing it for contaminants.
Yeah.
They're not going to the mines where the aluminum's from, things like that. That doesn't happen. They're basically looking at it at a very high level. So it seems very bizarre that Apple's pulling out of this. I mean, yeah, EPEAT is not extremely up with the times. They don't have a tablet classification, things like that.
Yeah.
But making a tablet is very similar to making a computer and a phone, parts-wise. So
Yeah.
why wouldn't the disposal and everything be similar, right? So I think that's one of the arguments. I don't know. I think it's just a weird move, which is Apple's had a lot of lately.
It's true.
To be honest. Tim Cook's shaking some stuff up. So,
And we'll see what the fall's going to bring us.
Yes, just don't worry if you've been reading that. No, they're not magically putting more lead in their computers or anything like that.
Oh, that's good, because I really like licking the outside of those machines, and I was worried.
Well, how else do you clean it?
I don't know.
Yeah. Last but not least, since we don't have a photography segment this week, we talked about the Nokia camera.
The PureView technology.
Yes, with like the 42 megapixel camera or whatever.
Yes.
Nokia confirmed this week that will be drifting over into the Lumia line.
Which is pretty cool because, it was nice to see that the 808 was coming stateside even though it was running the antiquated Symbian OS. But what we really wanted was that technology in phones that people actually cared about.
Yes.
Because it is really cool technology. Now, the 808 has a very big, chunky camera portion to it on account of this. And Nokia doesn't like to play that card. Their phones are nice and slim and sleek. At least with the new Lumia phones.
For sure, yeah.
Obviously, the 808 is not that way. So I'm going to be curious to see what they're going to do to make the phone still feel attractive. Because I really would hate it to end up with one of those sort of Android chins that some of the things get
Yes.
with the cameras. But I feel like it might be inevitable.
Well, we'll have to wait and see because that is probably not the only implementation of the technology that exists.
No.
And that phone was designed probably 2 years ago.
Yeah, and I really think it's a bit of a show-off technology to go,
Yeah.
this is what's capable. And we might not see a 40 megapixel, but maybe we're going to see a 20 megapixel with slightly different optics. And it won't necessarily be quite up to the par of the 808, but still substantially better than the rest of the smartphones on the market are seeing in terms of camera technology.
And this could be good news for Lumia and Windows Phone, especially Windows Phone 8, in terms of fighting at the things like the iPhone.
Yeah.
Because the 4S is a fantastic camera. The 4 even is quite a good camera. So if they could come out of the gate, because I know the Lumia's camera's okay, but that would blow the 4S away.
And we are getting to a point in time too where we're starting to see the point and shoot market dwindling because people are using their cell phones. Because even if it takes a crappy photo, we've got things like Instagram and Snapseed and stuff to make it a jazzicide crappy photo. And people seem to be happy enough with that. So if we can take, a bit of that point and shoot quality as well as our mobile connectivity and processing, I think we really do have, Microsoft and Nokia and Lumia would have this ability to close that gap and go, you don't need a point and shoot anymore. You're going to have your cell phone, and the only other time you'll need a phone is when you got your digital SLR out, or a camera.
And definitely a good selling point for Windows Phone going forward.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Hopefully we'll see that sooner or later. And that just about wraps up Tech Insight this week.
And that brings us to the end of the show this week. As per usual, if you'd like to get a hold of us, you can send us a Twitter message at @almost_Friday.
Or if Twitter's not quite enough because you have a lot of comments about our really short show this week, you can send us an email at contact@almostfridayshow.com.
We're also on the Facebooks. You can type in The Almost Friday Show up in the top search bar or go to facebook.com/The Almost Friday Show.
See, we have a link now.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
It might not be the Almost Friday show. It might be Almost Friday. I think it's the Almost Friday show.
So try both. And
Yeah.
then...
And if that doesn't work, you can still use the search bar.
Yeah, which most people are going to do anyway.
It's true. We hope you enjoyed our probably shortest episode ever, with the exception of episode 1, which was only half an episode. It was episode 1 half.
Oh, you're right.
It's like 12 minutes long.
Yeah.
So, other than that...
We're really drawing it out here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Till next week.